Greetings, fellow hunters. Well, like a Supernatural Season 2 now continues on with the episode Roadkill. It's 12:50 a.m. on February 22nd. Molly and David are driving down a dark road, dark, deserted highway, appearing to be lost. The two of them have been on this road for over an hour and haven't seen a single car. Looking at the map, David says that they are not lost and that they are on Highway 99. A few seconds later, they pass a sign which reads Highway 41. David corrects himself by saying that they're just taking the scenic route, but Molly's none too amused to spend their anniversary in a car. David, trying to make up for their current situation, starts acting playfully, causing Molly to take her eyes off the road. After David sees something in the road and screams, she focuses and immediately jerks on the brake when she sees a man standing in the middle of the road, causing her to drive off the highway, down the hill, into a ditch. Molly awakens without a scratch on her, although she still struggles to get out of the car. David is nowhere to be found. She screams his name frantically, but no answer. Molly starts walking further into the woods, calling David's name several times. In the distance, she sees a farmhouse slightly lit. She proceeds towards the house and enters through the front door. When she walks in, she sees the man from the road standing in the corner. He turns around and is gushing blood from his stomach. He transforms into a skeleton and vanishes. Molly bolts out of the house in a flash and runs back through the woods and up the hill to the road. In the distance, she sees the headlights of a car and darts in front of it, screaming for it to stop. It's Sam and Dean in the Impala, and a very shocked Dean jerks the car to a stop. The boys hop out of the car, and Molly explains to them that she ran off the road and crashed the car. When she came to, her husband David was missing, and the man from the road started chasing her. Sam and Dean ask Molly to come with them so they can get her somewhere safe, but she refuses to cooperate and asks them to take her back to her car. Upon arriving at the site of the crash, Molly is stunned to find her car gone as if no accident had occurred. Molly can't understand what could have happened to it and walks down the hill. Sam tells Dean they need to get her out of there because the man could show up any minute. Dean says that if they tell the truth, she'll take off running in the other direction. However, they do convince Molly to come with them. As they're driving down the road, Molly tells them that she and David were supposed to be in Lake Tahoe for their 5-year anniversary. All of a sudden, the radio dial moves back and forth and then stops on a song which plays. Molly recognizes the song. The song was playing in the car when the crash took place. In the background of the music, a small voice hisses in a low tone, "She's mine." Looking down the road, Dean sees the man standing out in front of the car, but doesn't hesitate at all and drives right through him, blowing him to dust. As they look in the back of them, nothing remains. A few seconds later, they are halted along the side of the road as the car dies. Sam and Dean get out of the car and open the trunk. Molly is sufficiently freaked after seeing the trunk loaded with weapons and starts walking off. Dean has told to Molly that it wasn't a coincidence that they were out here. He continues that they are tracking down this man they saw on the road, whom they believe is Jonah Greeley. He died 15 years ago on this road. Every year on the anniversary of his death, he haunts this road and the boys are out to stop him. Molly takes Sam and Dean back to the farmhouse where she saw Greeley. The room contains several surgical tables covered in stale blood, leading Dean to believe that this farmhouse was his hunting cabin. They're going to try to find Greeley's body so they can salt and burn it. However, when Greeley died, his wife claimed the body, and that was the last anyone ever saw of her. Most likely she brought the body back here, but the property is 1,000 acres and it could be anywhere. The boys waste no time in this. They have till sunrise to finish the job. Searching outside the premises, they head down a brick path to Greeley's house, which contains no headstones outside. Sam and Molly check the upstairs of the house in search of any papers or records showing where Greeley is buried. One of the rooms holds about every piece of mail and receipt they ever had. Molly picks up a photo album containing pictures of Greeley and his wife. Molly asks Sam how such people could turn so evil. Sam's response is that there's usually some unfinished business keeping them here, something along the lines of revenge, love, or hate. There's a part of them that just can't let go. Dean Wuxley reports that there's nothing downstairs giving any lead on the whereabouts of Greeley's body. Pulling the dresser out from the wall, Dean finds a small door leading to the attic. After breaking the door open with his foot, they find the remains of Greeley's wife. She apparently hung herself, most likely because she couldn't bear to be alone. Outside, Sam and Dean carry her body downstairs and bury her remains beside the front step because they feel she deserves to be put to rest. Molly is curious as to what happens to spirits after they're put to rest. Truthfully, Sam and Dean tell her they don't know what happens, but hopefully they go somewhere better. Back inside the house, Molly's in the kitchen looking through the photos in the album. Sam doesn't think they should tell Molly the truth about David. Dean objects, saying he feels sorry for her too. They need to stick to the plan and get her out, and then they'll tell her. Suddenly, they hear the same song from the car playing in the house. Dean walks slowly into their room and finds the music coming from a jukebox, which is unplugged. Molly, standing by the window, starts screaming as Greeley smashes the window open and grabs her out of the house. As fast as Sam and Dean can respond, Greeley and Molly have disappeared. Back inside the house, Sam and Dean search for any leads on the whereabouts of Greeley's body. Sam looks at the photos of the album that was taken outside the hunting cabin on February 6, 1992, about 2 weeks before the accident. However, a tree appears to be missing. It suddenly dawns on Sam that it's an old country custom to plant a tree as a grave marker. Dean's a little freaked out by Sam's level of knowledge and makes a comment. You're like a walking encyclopedia of weirdness. Sam and Dean rush to the hunting cabin, where they see Molly hanging by her hands from the ceiling. Greeley circles around her several times and uses his fingernails to dig marks through her face and her stomach. Dean bolts through the door, firing around a rock salt at him. He vanishes, but only fools Dean and reappears right behind him, throwing him against the wall. Greeley grabs the knife from the wall and comes up to him, attempting to stab Dean in the heart. Sam comes to rescue as he salts and burns Greeley's remains outside the cabin. As his bones burn, Greeley's engulfed in flames, disintegrating to dust. Sam, Dean, and Molly head back up the road to the Impala. Molly's persistent and demands to know what happened to David. Sam tells her David is alive and that they'll take her to see him. The Impala pulls up outside of David's house. Molly gets out and walks up to the door, but stops as she looks through the window and sees David kissing another woman. The boys explain to her that the woman inside is David's wife. 15 years ago, Molly and David hit Jonah Greeley with their car, and David survived. Every year on the anniversary of his death, Jonah Greeley says to punish someone for what happened to him. That someone is always Molly. She's been praying on that road every year. Several flashback scenes are shown at this point. The first scene goes back to the Impala before they run into Molly. Sam and Dean are discussing the case to point out there have been 12 accidents over the past 15 years, 5 of them fatal, all happening on the same night. This flashback shows Sam and Dean at the library looking at a news article on the accident as well as them talking with David. They also show the scene in the Impala right before Molly darts out in front of them. That's when we realize that she's really dead and that she's here in spirit form. Molly's shocked to realize the truth about what happened. She feels they need to go talk to David. Sam and Dean tell her that if she wants to go inside, they're not going to stop her, but warn her that she's going to freak him right out for life. They feel that if she lets go of everything that's happened, she'll move on to a better place. As much as Molly wants to see David, she understands that the boys are right and agrees to let go. She walks to the glare of the sunrise and is taken away with the light. As Sam and Dean head back to the Impala, they look back at the sunrise and hope she's going to a better place. Aww. Sounds like it looks at some continuity surrounding this episode. Sam and Dean will learn in later seasons that ghosts move on to heaven and hell once put to rest. Move on heaven or hell, but whatever. Anyway, and now finally, let's take a look at some trivia. At the end of the episode, Dean tells Sam, "Alright, Haley Joel, let's hit the road." Haley Joel Osment is an actor best known for his role as a child in the movie The Sixth Sense, with the ability to not only see, but commiserate with ghosts. After Sam tells Molly the ghosts weren't evil people when they were alive, Dean says Sam was a little J-Love Hewitt when it comes to things like this. Jennifer Love Hewitt is an actress portraying Melinda Gordon, a girl who can talk to ghosts, in the TV series Ghost Whisperer. Although it is not seen as odd, when Sam and Dean take Molly to see her husband, he and his now wife are both awake in the dead of night an hour or two before sunrise and surprisingly active. It's winter, so sunrise would be rather late. The parents just getting ready for the day after they got up. Dean makes a reference to the Wizard of Oz, saying, "Hey, follow the creepy brick road." The original quote is "follow the yellow brick road." The CW's official summary for this episode has an error where the farmer's guest actor is not named. It should have read, guest star Winston Record. So overall, I think this episode is kind of interesting, but also kind of sad, really, because you do kind of feel bad for what happens to Molly, so yeah. So overall, I give Roadkill 4 Impalas out of 5. Well, anyway, tune in as we take a look at the next episode, Heart. So, until then, carry on, my wayward sons and daughters.